Hi Taurus, welcome to Stardust Astrology. This is your monthly forecast for November 2016, and this will apply mostly if you have your Ascendant or Moon in Taurus, to a lesser degree your Sun. If we are talking about the Sun, then this will apply more to your career and your vitality, overall vitality in general. This can even apply if you have your Aruda Lagna in Taurus. In that case, it will describe more what the world around you sees about you. And to some extent, it can even apply if your Atma Karaka is in Taurus. Then you will feel it very personally. I'm using Vedic Sidereal positions, which means that we are currently in the month of Libra, not Scorpio. Scorpio would be for those Western astrology lovers. Now, the first thing that I notice when I look at the sky for November is that all of the planets are located from one side of this Rahu Ketu axis. For you guys, they are in the houses 5, 6, 7, and 8. And when we have all planets from one side of Rahu and Ketu, it points to a certain imbalance. This is happening for all of us right now. It is just that it is affecting different areas of our life. Now, when there is imbalance, we need to act upon it and try to make things balanced again, right? This is why imbalances can be very useful if we are not freaked out by them. For you guys, the Sun has entered your sixth house, where Libra is located, on the 17th of October. So it's been there for some time already. And wherever Sun goes, this is where we invest not so much of our energy, but more, this is where our focus is. This is the area where we start noticing things, because wherever Sun goes, Sun illuminates this house. And the sixth house is the house where there is not really much enjoyment there. It shows all those boring, everyday, routine things that we have to do to maintain the things that we want to have in our lives. So these are things like paying our bills, cleaning our houses, exercising, getting up from the bed, getting dressed, going to work. Now, I'm not talking about a career, position, prestige, social status. No, this is happening in the 10th house. 6th house is the job in the most common sense of that word. If you are one of those people who have this life philosophy that, okay, this is a job. It's not important that this is boring. It's not important that I don't enjoy it too much. I have to do it to pay my bills, to take care of myself. Then you will very well understand what the sixth house is all about. When Sun comes to the sixth house, it can indicate some power struggles, especially with people who are authorities in your figure. It can also draw your focus to the areas of life where you need to sacrifice some enjoyments at the moment. Now, for you, this will especially be your resting time and the time that you spend at home, the time that something that you do to rest and something that makes you happy, right? This is a time period where you most likely have to sacrifice some of these things for a bigger goal. Let's say I can't really listen to music today and drink coffee with my friends because I have to stay at work longer, and then I have to go exercise, and then I have to cook, and then I have to clean the house, because I'm on my own in these areas now, okay? Now, this started from the 17th of October, as I said, But on the 30th of October, there is a new moon in this area of your life. And if you're sensitive to lunar cycles, you can feel the new moon several days before this actually occurs. Usually, the new moon or the few days around the new moon, and maybe the day of the new moon, and let's say 2 to 3 days after that, you can feel that the energy is pulling away. You have finished something in your life, most likely things related to the fifth house. Now this energy is withdrawing and making space, energetic space in your life for something new to be born in the areas of the sixth house. Wherever we have new moon, new things are born. This is the time where our masculine energies, which are ruled by the sun, and our feminine energies come together, and both of them are necessary for something new to be born, right? To create a new life. And in your case, guys, we can expect that the new developments are going to be happening in the sixth house. And I have already described what the sixth house rules. Now, together with this new moon is the little green guy. This is Mercury. So Mercury is also going to give some flavor to this new moon, as well as the nakshatra where this new moon is taking place, and this is the nakshatra of Swati. Now, when the new moon is with Mercury, and Mercury rules your fifth house and your second house, and at the moment Jupiter is transiting your fifth house, these can be new developments at your workplace, especially if you're doing anything related to creative industries, film industry, movies, television, politics, even if you're into sports, performing, entertainment industry. It can bring new everyday developments in your life. This moon is especially good for you guys who are working on television, radio, internet activities, any place where we need to disperse information, because Swati Nakshatra is supportive of spreading new information. So also if you are in a PR industry, in sales industry, if you are speakers, in any kind of industry, actually, if you're using your communication skills, this is going to be a very good new moon to start something like that. This new moon is ruled by Venus, because Venus rules Libra, and simultaneously by Rahu, because Rahu, together with Venus, rules Swati Nakshatra. Rahu is in your fourth house. And the fourth house rules this basic sense of stability and happiness that we have in our lives. And Venus is placed together with Saturn, the black guy, in your seventh house. And seventh house is the house of business. And since it is 10th from 10th, it is also very related to your career. So guys, this new moon can be very supportive of the matters of your career. If you're changing jobs, for example, moving to a different position, moving to a higher position, it can happen during the month of November, especially because not only is Venus together with Saturn in Scorpio, but it is in Jyeshta Nakshatra, and Jyeshta Nakshatra supports promotions, it supports the positions with more power, more authority, and together with Saturn, Venus can make for something really, really permanent, okay? Saturn at the same time rules your 9th house and your 10th house, and the 10th house is the house of your career. So again, I can see a common theme here. 9th house, if you are working in publishing industry, in teaching industry, in counseling industry, it can also be very supportive of promotions in these areas. For you guys who are on executive positions or positions of authority, this could be a great month to employ new people. If you are going to do that, I would put the announcement for new places on the internet, because this month is very supportive of internet activities. And if you manage to get new employees, they are likely people who will be very responsible and who are going to stay there for a long time. Now, falling in the sixth house, when we have a lot of activity in the sixth house, like the new moon, the sun is transiting there, Mercury is coming there, this can trigger a lot of stress. In that case, with the Swati Nakshatra operating, what would help you most this month is breath control exercises, doing yoga, that kind of stuff. Swati is very supportive of that. So if you are thinking about new exercise routine, I would recommend doing breathing exercises or enrolling to your nearest yoga class. It is going to help you stay balanced and keep your nervous system under control. Now, if we look at your love life, this is not the easiest position of planets to support the love life. But then again, I think you guys are at least, to say, used to it by now, because Saturn has been transiting your 7th house starting from November 2014. And when Saturn comes to the 7th house, it usually brings, if you're single, it brings serious partners with, usually there are huge age differences. Either they are much older than you or much younger than you. For you guys, since it rules the 10th house, those people could be somebody who is or was your authority figure at the beginning, like bosses or directors or managers. Since Saturn also rules your 9th house, those people could be somebody who came from abroad, or they even could be, let's say, your professors at university, or people who were your counselors, coaches, or somebody who is guiding you, right? And when Saturn is in the 7th house, it really teaches us to go with this other person through thick and thin. It can bring a lot of situations where there is a stress and where there is struggle, especially in the sign of Scorpio. It can bring issues of jealousy, possessiveness, power struggles, control. Your partners could be possessive, jealous, controlling. You could be fighting in the way, you know, not those open, clear, nice negotiations, but those could be some underhanded comments, hitting the other person where it hurts them, and yet still staying there, because Saturn brings this staying power. So you'll learn how to be with the other person even when it sucks. And now in this month, Venus is joining Saturn together in Scorpio, so you could really seal the deal in a way. Or this can be the final period of a breakdown, because especially if you guys are going through a divorce, with the new moon in the 6th house, you could find yourself in a court. And with the Venus joining Saturn, Venus rules your 1st house, it will go to the 7th, which is the opposite. It can again show some time periods where there are divorces. In that case, you guys probably also are thinking about moving house, you know, moving away, or you have already done that with those eclipses in Leo that we have had. And in the past month, in October, Aries was transiting your 8th house, not Aries, sorry, Mars. Mars rules Aries. Mars was transiting your 8th house, and with Mars in the 8th house, it can bring a lot of ups and downs and a lot of struggles and impatience to deal with those ugly sides of our relationships. And the whole point of this transit is for you to gain courage to actually transform your insecurities into your strengths, but it can happen through a lot of impulsive reactions, a lot of, let's say, unwanted or unexpected situations. So all of this to me can really point to, well, to an ending if there is a divorce going on. If you guys do not want to get a divorce or do not want to end your relationships, then the best thing to do would be to see where at this time you can help your partner, serve them, do something to support them, because they will need to rest at this period. They will maybe need to travel somewhere. They will maybe need some time for themselves. You know, they will be likely to spend a little less time with you at this time period. So the best thing to do is just to see where you can help them focus on themselves right now. Right after the new moon on November the 1st, Mars is moving from your 8th house to the 9th house in Capricorn. And this could be a great time for a business trip, because Mars rules your 7th house and your 12th house. If not, it can show that your partners now will be people who are somebody from abroad. You could be dealing with strangers, in the sense of people who are not from your country or your immediate environment. You could be doing business with them. Some of you might even go travel with their partners with this kind of Mars. You guys who are learning something, like at the university, this could be the time period where you invest a lot of your energy to pass those exams, to learn new things. It is also a good time to push if you are working in a publishing industry, or if you guys are working as teachers. This is the time to structure your courses, to really deal with your students. If not, if you are in the if you're not in the teaching or counseling position, if you're in the learning position, this is where you're going to apply focus to gain new knowledge and new wisdom right now. On the 7th of November, Venus moves to the 8th house. Venus is your ruler, so the movements of Venus are very important for you guys. And Venus in the 8th house can be a bit tricky position, although your Venus has just been through the 6th house and then joined Saturn in the 7th house. So I don't think this will be very shocking, because, you know, she hasn't been making a lot of easy conjunctions or easy positions lately. Venus had to be strong. Now, when Venus moves to the 8th house, if you have had some troubles in your relationship, you might want to go and find yourself a lover. This is one of those positions which can show extramarital affairs, especially if you guys are traveling somewhere. This could be someone from abroad, but be careful if you're doing that, because with Saturn in the 7th house and Mars in the 9th house, Venus in the 8th is a bit smashed. It shows that your desires may come to fruition at a very high price. There can be some painful consequences to this, so I don't think you will want to do that. Jupiter, which rules this Venus now, is in your 5th house. Now, when the planet which rules Venus in the 8th house goes to the 5th house, it really can show an extramarital or a secret affair, especially with Jupiter in Hasta Nakshatra. This will support this, because Hasta has this ability to take what you want and place it in your hands with some initial resistance, but still it can do that. But I'm telling you again, there could be scandals. This could come at a very high price with Saturn, strict Saturn still in your partnership house. I really wouldn't do that. Or if you're still doing it, be very, very careful. It is an unstable position which can influence your self-esteem badly or your psychological state badly. It can even bring about STDs. So just tread carefully with Venus in the 8th house. On the other hand, it could be a great time to go see a counselor, a psychologist, an astrologist, anybody who is dealing with those deeper psychological issues or occult matters. When I say occult, I mean things that not most of the population is acquainted with, like astrology, like numerology, you know, all hypnotherapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, all those kinds of professions which are not very mainstream professions. Now, on the 14th of November, we will have a full moon in the last degrees of Aries, and Aries falls in your 12th house. When there is activity happening in our 12th house, we need to get away. We need to escape. We need some time to be on our own. We need some time to recharge, replenish our batteries, right? Since it seems to me that you guys have had a lot of emotional issues, you know, and it hasn't been easy emotionally for you lately, especially with Rahu in Leo in your 4th house. Rahu also doesn't support home happiness, and it's like it points to the area where we feel like we have to deal with that. We can be obsessed. We can start being obsessed with that. Like with this kind of transit, you can be obsessed with, I want to feel happy. I just want to be happy. I want to do whatever will make me happy. And then whatever you do, you end up disappointed because it's just the nature of Rahu, the nature of whenever you want something really badly, you're setting yourself up to disappointments because, well, almost nothing can really fulfill such high standards that we place in the areas where our Rahu is transiting, right? So when the full moon falls in your 12th house, you might be feeling drained. You might want to escape from all those emotional burdens. Your immune system could be a bit lower in this time, and you might need to just rest. Now, the tricky thing is this full moon is happening in the nakshatra of Kritika, and Kritika is not very supportive of resting. So if you get the idea, okay, let me do something which will help me rest, just be careful not to hurt yourself, because you might get an idea to do something that involves sharp objects like carving or cutting things or working with needles, you know. Be cooking to rest. Just be careful not to hurt yourself, because it's possible with this kind of position. For people who are in hospitals waiting for surgery, let's say, this is most likely to be the time when the surgery happens, because Venus is in the 8th house. When 12th house is triggered, it can point to something like that. Also, some traveling to faraway places is possible when there is a full moon in the 12th house. And since we already have Mars in the 9th house, this could as well be with your partner. So as I already said, you really need to rest now, but since Kritika does not support rest, maybe you will prefer to have some kind of active vacation right now, okay? Now, the thing with Kritika is one part of this nakshatra spreads in Aries and the other part is in Taurus. And if your moon or ascendant is placed in the first 10 degrees of Taurus by Vedic sidereal positions, then this full moon will not have the effects of the 12th house, it will have the effects of the first house. And with the effects of the first house, it actually means that there is no resting, all eyes will be on you. This will be the time where you will need to be self-assertive. This will be the time when you are likely to get a lot of attention. It can be time when you need to make some kind of decisions. And I think that it will play out in your work field, or since it's really happening in the late degrees of Aries and late Sun is in the late degrees of Libra, close to your 7th house. If this does not show as a promotion at work or some quick decision that you have to make at work, you could be feeling too much independent. You could have such strong willpower at this period that there could be arguments with your partner. So you could be feeling quarrelsome, short-tempered. Your language could be harsh, sharp, up to the point, yes, but not very diplomatic. So and with the Saturn in the 7th house, your partners will demand a lot from you. So just be aware of that if you are thinking about cutting yourself off of your relationship, because it can happen with Kritika. Kritika likes to cut. This will not be something that happens to you. If it happens, it will be a decision that you decide to make. But on the other hand, if you want to keep your relationship and maintain balance with them, just watch your tongue. Don't be too harsh and don't threaten to cut yourself off, because Saturn in the 7th, with Saturn in the 7th, your partners will be demanding and they will not respond well to that. For you guys who are again working in service industry or working with sharp objects of any sort, it may be that you are hairdressers, that you are tailors, that you are beauticians or doctors working with needles. This could be a time of promotion at the job. Again, all eyes will be on you. You will receive a lot of attention in the second half of the month, around the middle of the month. This full moon is on the 14th. But all of this only if your ascendant or your moon or sun are in the first 10 degrees of Taurus. If they're after the 10th degree of Taurus, then everything I said about the 12th house will apply to you more. Okay, this is all that I wanted to share with you for the month of November. The next lunar cycle, or the next place where we expect new developments, is happening in your 7th house on November 29th. So I will see you guys before that to go through this with you, see where we can make the most out of the energies in the next month. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you find it useful. I hope you make the most out of these energies available to you at the moment, and I wish you a great month of November. Thank you for the listening. Bye bye.